In light of the perception of Western democracy and the West in general imposing democratic rule on Middle Eastern countries, us going into Libya, could it not have a negative knock-on effect to all the other states in the area and their transition to democracy?
Imposing democratic rule, you call it?
Yeah.
Yes? OK, Caroline Lucas, do you want to answer that?
Well, I think that's a really good point, and I think there's a very real risk that that is how it will be portrayed, that unfortunately, we have lost all moral authority when it comes to this kind of intervention because of what happened in Iraq. And I very much worry that this will be portrayed by Gaddafi as yet more Western, neo-colonial exploits, imperialist exploits in the area.
With the UN resolution behind it?
Even with the UN resolution behind it.
And with the Arab League behind it?
I still think that if that is led by the US and the UK, there is a very real risk that it will be used to make it sound as if this is another imperialist adventure. I think that, I agree when Baroness Vazi says things like, this is a real opportunity for the international community. It's a real opportunity for the international community to look again at our foreign policy and our trade policy. What was David Cameron doing in Tahrir Square, just a few months ago, selling arms there? I thought he was there to express solidarity with the protesters. No, he had a whole lot of arms dealers in his delegation. If we're serious about trying to bring peace to this region, and I really sympathise with people that will support what's going to happen, because of course we want to be able to help the rebels, but to think that the best way of helping the rebels is to do this.
And what's the consequences of
what's
the consequences, Caroline, of us standing by and allowing genocide to happen in Benghazi, where there are women and children? 500 women took to the streets of Benghazi. 500 women took to the streets of Benghazi, and what they were saying was, we have lived under Gaddafi's terror for too long. And
funded by our weapons, sent by our government, sent by your government for years and years and years. I just will not accept that kind of moral high ground. Let me just answer. When your government, and indeed previous governments, have been selling arms hand over fist to these regimes for years, when did Gaddafi suddenly become a brutal dictator? It wasn't just a couple of weeks ago.
All right,
well, so why were you selling?
Thank you both. Let's go back to our audience, please. Let's go. It's a very